Hello and welcome to the March 1st Thursday opening here at the Portland Art Gallery. My name is Emma Wilson, I'm the director here and delighted that you could join us. This month's feature artists are Michel Droge, Missy Dunaway, and Jill Hoy. You will be hearing more from these dynamic artists in a few minutes. First, I'd like to take a moment to thank our artists and clients, our artists who continue to push through COVID and continue to create beautiful works for us to enjoy, and to our clients who continue to make art purchasing a part of their lives. Thank you for the support of the gallery. And of course, thank you to those who stop in and visit us here at 154 Middle and stay engaged with us through our website and our Instagram network. It feels so good to be connected. We have some exciting news to share. Portland Art Gallery is hitting the airwaves with a new podcast. We are collaborating with Dr. Lisa Belisle, who has over a decade's worth of experience interviewing people on the air. Our podcast, Radio Maine, will feature Maine artists along with many other people you'd like to know better. Please follow Radio Maine on Instagram and watch our emails for more details. But for now, I would like to invite you to sit back and enjoy our March opening. We will begin with artist Michel Droge. Michel and the gallery have been working together for the past year, and we admire their dedication and their talent. One aspect of Michel's inspiration is all that is happening in the world around us, with a particular emphasis on the ecological fabric of our being. When viewing Michel's work, I experience an appreciation of what is happening on both the micro and the macro level in our environment, but I'm filled with a sort of optimism of how we might move forward. And now to learn more about this body of work, please welcome artist Michel Droge.
Hi, my name is Michel Droge. I'm a painter and a printmaker. I live here in Portland, Maine. Really excited to be showing at the Portland Art Gallery this month. The work that I'm showing here this month is very recent. I'm a research-based artist and I collaborate with institutions in various places, mostly in Maine, but around New England, and because of the pandemic, a lot of those projects have been put on hold, and so I found myself painting inspired by what I was seeing every day, and my daily walks through Robinson Woods with my puppy were a major source of inspiration for this work. As I walk through those woods during late summer, early fall, and into the winter, I was noticing like daily changes, especially in the wetlands and that are within the woods and around the circumference of the woods. And I was inspired by these wetlands as a place that's both being conserved by the land trust and also a beautiful source of renewal. As I was thinking about how we were standing still with this pandemic, and it was a time where we could have the opportunity to do some inward thinking and really retrospect around what we're living with and watching the world as it changes and re-evaluating a lot of the systems that are in existence right now and figuring out like how to move forward. I was also noticing that these places, these wetlands, are a place of new growth and a place that's being conserved for habitat for animals and for, you know, just this really fertile, rich land that is beautiful to look at and also inspiring in terms of being a productive site. And so these three smaller paintings are kind of looking out at the vista of Robinson Woods and looking at the wetlands as I walk by them every day. And some of the marks that I'm making, I'm taking away paint as opposed to just putting it on. So this have this feeling of things shifting and some things going away and some things staying still, and this passage of time over these months as I walk in the same area every day. The larger paintings are a zooming in of the swamplands and of the swamps and the wetlands, and thinking about them as a very fertile, hopeful ground. And looking at like new growth as it as like eggs are laid in these swamp areas, and just looking at them as these beautiful, fertile, rich, hopeful places. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for looking at the work, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Our next featured artist is Missy Dunaway. I have a personal attachment to Missy because we've worked together for going on 2.5 years. In that short time, she's published a book, enrolled in the prestigious Academy of Realist Art Boston, traveled around the world, gotten married, and created this stunning body of work for the show. Inspired by her world travels, Missy invites us into her journey through these beautiful acrylic ink paintings and also through her written words. Please join me in welcoming artist Missy Dunaway.
My name is Missy Dunaway. I'm an artist based in Cape Elizabeth. I've been represented at Portland Art Gallery for a little over 2 years now. The theme behind this collection of work is travel. And I know this might seem like a strange time to be painting about travel, but for me it was the perfect time because, like so many other people, in 2020 my travel plans were canceled, and I found myself instead at home looking at the same 4 walls, and I thought, well, in my studio I can go wherever I want. And I do believe that with art we can all travel wherever we want to go. So in my paintings I returned to and reminisced about my favorite travel moments. And the moments that inspire me when I'm traveling are often the smaller moments, maybe when you're wandering aimlessly by yourself and you stumble upon something completely unexpected. Like this one time when I was biking around an island in Finland, I was looking for a lake that I didn't find, but I did find 3 beautiful sun-filled greenhouses, and I thought that was way better than a lake. And then another time I found a little lending library down by a wharf. Moments like that are small and private, but they're like little gems that you carry with you throughout life. And my goal for this collection is that when someone's looking at one of the paintings, I don't want them to think, well, this is of Finland and I've never been to Finland, so I don't get it. My goal is that they're just reminded of that spirit and feeling of travel that kind of whisks them away to their own travel memories that evokes those same feelings. And these paintings are also larger interpretations of scenes from my pictorial travel journal, which will be published this May. It's called The Traveling Artist, a Visual Journal. And this book actually started off as a very modest sketchbook in 2013 when I traveled to Turkey with a Fulbright Fellowship to study Anatolian textiles in Istanbul for a year. After my grant period concluded, I scheduled consecutive artist-in-residence programs so that I could continue traveling throughout the world, staying at each destination for a couple months at a time. And the travel journal captured the journey along the way. And for me, it's much better than photography because I'm not a gifted photographer and I don't have professional equipment. And I have this horrible habit of taking 10 photos of the same thing for no apparent reason, so that when I get home I have thousands of photos and I could never possibly look through them all. But when I work in a sketchbook, there's 50 pages, so I have to be more careful and curate a selection. And at the end, I know that I have only my favorite moments collected that I can look back on and revisit. And it's pretty funny because I never expected to make these paintings large. I really liked keeping them in the book. I like that you flip through one page to the next, and you see all the images in sequence, and it sort of builds this soft, meandering narrative over the years. And then I also really cherish that one-on-one relationship that a viewer has with a book. Unlike a painting that's on a wall and 10 people can view it at one time, a book is really a one-on-one interaction, and it's just a little bit more intimate. So I liked that, and I didn't want to lose that. But then finally, COVID came around, and the world stopped spinning for a moment, and I had a moment to just stop and experiment. And of course, I'd always been curious, and I always just wanted to see what it would look like. So I thought, well, why not? And if I do a painting and it doesn't work out, then I'll just throw it away and no one will know. But that first one I did, it worked out really well. And I think the reason is because when I work in a small sketchbook, there's less time and materials and energy on the line, and so I have more freedom to let go of my inhibitions and be really daring with my compositions and perspectives. So I paint more boldly when it's on a small scale, and then I have everything worked out and it's safe to put down on a larger painting. And I found, to my surprise, that a lot of these compositions work perfectly on a large scale because those exaggerated perspectives allow the viewer to just step into the scene. There's one painting with a lamppost craning overhead, and when you look at the painting, it literally cranes over your head just as it did in real life. Just moments like that where I couldn't believe that I spent 8 years not painting this way because it worked out so well. So I've made up for lost time now. And I have this collection on show along with a few paintings from an art residency I had in Montana in 2015 when I was learning how to tie flies and fly fish. So there's some paintings of fishing flies on display as well to flip through. And also a few paintings from my carpet project in Turkey. And that's a limited series. These are some of the last paintings that are still available. It's really important to me that project maintains its integrity as a research project. And I created those paintings while I was in Turkey, advised by weavers, learning the language, conducting research on site. And so it feels right to leave the project there. Not only that, but also 15% of proceeds from sales from that project go to support women artists and weavers in Turkey via Turkish Philanthropy Funds, a wonderful nonprofit I've been working with for a few years now. It's very important to me that the artists who inspire my artwork are acknowledged and compensated. I still feel so indebted to the artists who taught me how to weave and were teaching me Turkish, and of course for their friendship during that time. I'm so grateful, and I feel very fortunate that I have these paintings to document that experience. And again, the book, The Traveling Artist, a Visual Journal, comes out in May, and Portland Art Gallery will be a vendor, so you can buy it here. Thank you.
And now our featured artist, the renowned Jill Hoy. Jill, just as her stunning paintings, is larger than life. Her passion, talent, unending smile and graciousness, and her commitment to the arts make her a wonderful partner here at the gallery. Sharing her time between Stonington and Somerville, Jill lets us know her admiration of the natural vibrancy of Maine and her love of color and energy. We often hear from clients how much her work fills them with warmth and wonder and curiosity. It is my sincere honor to introduce artist Jill Hoy.
Hello, my name is Jill Hoy. I live in Stonington, Maine, in the Penobscot Bay on the island of Deer Isle, in the region of the Blue Hill Peninsula. And so this show is a portrait of that peninsula from approximately Sedgwick Barrens down to through Little Deer, Deer Isle and Stonington. It's really a portrait of the region on out to the what do they call it? Apelago. That's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying. All the islands that are out in that body of water. So there are neighborhoods of this area. It was a quarry town, Stonington, and a lot of the paintings are done nearby to maximize my paint time. And many are the paintings done in winter, which I haven't taken the opportunity to do before this year, since I was living in Somerville in the wintertime. But due to COVID, I stayed the winter in Deer Isle. Stonington started a quarry town. They harvested huge amounts of granite rock. There are paintings here of that quarry, of one of the many quarries which are tucked everywhere in that town. And I find I'm primarily a structural painter, which holds the color and the rhythms of my paintings. And the quarry painting here, which is Quiet Quarry in a Snowfall, was begun on a day when there was no snow, and I chose its vertical pivot point, which pretty much cuts the painting. And on some of the next sessions, there was snow, and then there was snow falling. And those subsequent sessions with the snow carved into it really changed the painting a lot. And so you get these rivulets of arabesques moving through and softening the grays of the granite. And I'm really just beginning to explore snow painting, and the winter's over, perhaps. So there are a number of winter paintings here, whether you recognize them as such, because it has been a mild winter. One is my neighborhood in Stonington, looking to the east. And it's a view I've never done before, and I was very excited by the elevation. There's a summer one as you enter the show of Lupin, and it's very open and loose and feels it's basking in light and has a certain simplicity. So I would say, there's a range of approach in these paintings, going from simplicity to more detailed and worked in a more pushed way. I tend to like an open, airy approach, but that doesn't always work, and so some of them are more, have a more gravitas sense to them. This is the Blueberry Barrens up in Sedgwick, which speaks to the wildness of the area. There, you can walk for miles up here. There's a beaver pond down below, and barren upon barren, penetrated only by these blueberry roads that become just paths, basically. And you can look out across to Acadia and the islands. I wanted to address the Napa truck, which Stonington is probably the lobster capital of the world. It brings in more lobster than any other place, and it's a tiny town with a really hard-working fleet of boats. So there's a Stonington fleet painting here that captures a tiny snippet of the hundreds of lobster boats that populate our shores. But the Napa truck, it's there. We have a Napa store, and the girls run it, and everyone, it's like one of the heart and souls of Stonington. And I always got a kick out of the fact that it had the Napa black splashes on it at the co-op. So I did it last year, and this year they sold the truck, and it was just a very simple flatbed truck for hauling bait around and salt, and the cadmium yellow of the boat in the foreground and the schooner coming by. So it sort of speaks to the layers of the waterfront. A lot of my paintings have rhythms, have structure, rhythm, color, wind, all these forces I'm finding almost cartooned calligraphy to speak to what am I looking at? How will I convey that to you as a visual language? And you'll see these movements, whether they're the arabesques or a vertical lupin or a lily pond stroke, or they compile these rhythms that speak to us, and they're very alive paintings. They're oils. They're done outdoors on location, so there's a vibrancy to them and an alive quality that they're great paintings to live with because they just keep changing on you. You won't get tired of them. And they're done with a modern touch, which I just developed because of my love of drawing. and I can draw with great refinement, and as that's integrated into sort of an open gestural movement that is floating over all these paintings and integrated. I pretty much launch into painting them with broad pieces of color, but also those movements. And so the two pastiches of way to work, it is a weaving. And times of day, in the hours that I spend outside, it will begin to be focused in on a time of day. And either I'll go back honing in on that, or I will try to nail it in one long session, which are some of my favorites. Let's see, I think I've covered it. The gallery is a superb gallery, and please come visit it. It shows a plethora of artists and features 3 of which I'm one. It's a great team of people you will enjoy, and they have an innovative way of reaching out to their audience to nourish you with art, because boy, art is it's a piece of poetry that will hit you on so many levels. And goodness knows we need the nourishment in these times that have really stripped away so much of what we take to energize ourselves with. And for me, it's been a deep year of working. And so I hope you get that when you come and visit it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, Missy, and Jill, for your remarks and inviting us to engage with your art. It's so inspiring to hear from each of you. Please stop in to see the show 7 days a week here at 154 Middle, 10 to 5:30. Also, you can enjoy the show at the end of this video through our Matterport tour. Please follow Portland Art Gallery and Radio Maine on Instagram. And until next time, be safe, be well, take good care of each other, and keep in touch. Thank you.